heaven and help the wise and the simple in heaven too. 349. All who have furnished themselves with intelligence and wisdom in the world are received in heaven and become angels, each in accordance with the quality and degree of his intelligence and wisdom. For whatever a man acquires in the world abides, and he takes it with him after death, and it is further increased and filled out, but within and not beyond time degree of his affection and desire for truth and its good, those with but little affection and desire receiving but little, and yet as much as they are capable of receiving within that degree, while those with much affection and desire receive much. The degree itself of affection and desire is like the measure that is filled to the full, he who has a large measure receiving more, and he who has a small measure receiving less. This is so because man's love, to which affection and desire belong, receives all that accords with itself. Consequently, as much as he loves, so much does he receive. This is what is meant by the Lord's words. To everyone that hath, shall be given, that he may have more abundantly. Matt 13:12, 25, 29. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall be given into your bosom. Luke 6:38. 350. All are received into heaven who have loved truth and good for the sake of truth and good. Therefore those who have loved much are called the wise, and those who have loved little are called the simple. The wise in heaven are in much light, the simple in less light, everyone in accordance with the degree of his love for good and truth. To love truth and good for the sake of truth and good is to will and do them. For those love who will and do, while those who do not love do not will and do. Such also love the Lord and are loved by the Lord, because good and truth are from the Lord. And because good and truth are from the Lord is in good and truth, and hence he is in those who receive good and truth into their life by willing and doing. Moreover, when man is viewed in himself he is nothing but his own good and truth, because good is of his will and truth of his understanding, and man is such as his will and understanding are. It is evident from this that man is loved by the Lord just to the extent that his will has been formed from good and his understanding from truth. To be loved by the Lord is also to love the Lord, since love is reciprocal. For upon him who is loved the Lord bestows ability to love. 351. It is believed in the world that those who have much knowledge, whether it be knowledge of the teachings of the Church and the Word or of the sciences, have a more interior and keener vision of truth than others. That is, are more intelligent and wise, and such have this opinion of themselves. But what true intelligence and wisdom are, and what spurious and false intelligence and wisdom are, will be told in what now follows. To true intelligence and wisdom is seeing and perceiving what is true and good, and thereby what is false and evil, and clearly distinguishing between them, and this from an interior intuition and perception. With every man there are interior faculties and exterior faculties, interior faculties belonging to the internal or spiritual man, and exterior faculties belonging to the exterior or natural man. Accordingly, as man's interiors have been formed and make one with his exteriors, man sees and perceives. His interiors can be formed only in heaven, but his exteriors are formed in the world. When his interiors have been formed in heaven, then the things that are therein flow into his exteriors which are from the world, and so form them that they correspond with, that is, act as one with his interiors. And when this is done, man sees and perceives from what? His interior. The interiors can be formed only in one way, namely, by man's looking to the divine and to heaven. For, as has been said, the interiors are formed in heaven, and man looks to the divine when he believes in the divine, and believes that all truth and good and consequently all intelligence and wisdom are from the divine, and man believes in the divine when he is willing to be led by the divine. In this way and none other are the interiors of man opened. 3. The man who is in that belief and in a life that is in accordance with his belief has the ability and capacity to understand and be wise. But to become intelligent and wise he must learn many things, both things pertaining to heaven and things pertaining to the world, things pertaining to heaven from the Word and from the Church, and things pertaining to the world from the sciences. To the extent that man learns and applies to life, he becomes intelligent and wise, for to that extent the interior sight belonging to his understanding and the interior affection belonging to his will are perfected. The simple of this class are those whose interiors have been opened, but not so cultivated by spiritual, moral, civil and natural truths. Such perceive truths when they hear them, but do not see them in themselves. But the wise of this class are those whose interiors have been both opened and cultivated. Such both see truths inwardly in themselves and perceive them. All this makes clear what true intelligence is and what true wisdom is. 352. Spurious intelligence and wisdom is failing to see and perceive from within what is true and what is good, and thereby what is false and what is evil, but merely believing that to be true and good and that to be false and evil which is said by others to be so, and then confirming it. Because such see truth from someone else, and not from the truth itself, they can seize upon and believe what is false as readily as what is true, and can also confirm it until it appears true. For whatever is confirmed puts on the appearance of truth, and there is nothing that can not be confirmed. The interiors of such have been opened only from beneath, but their exteriors to the extent that they have confirmed themselves. For this reason, the light from which they see is not the light of heaven but the light of the world, which is called natural light lumen, and in that light falsities can shine like truths, and when confirmed they can even appear resplendent, but not in the light of heaven. Of this class those are less intelligent and wise who have strongly confirmed themselves, and those are more intelligent and wise who have less strongly confirmed themselves. All this shows what spurious intelligence and wisdom are. 2. But those are not included in this class who in childhood supposed what they heard from their masters to be true, if in a riper age, when they think from their own understanding, they do not continue to hold fast to it, but long for truth, and from that longing seek for it, and when they find it are interiorly moved by it. Because such are moved by the truth for the truth's sake, they see the truth before they confirm it. Number sign. This may be illustrated by an example. 3. There was a discussion among spirits why animals are born into all the knowledge suited to their nature, but man is not, and the reason was said to be that animals are in the order of their life, and man is not. Consequently, man must needs be led into order by means of cognitions and scientific facts. But if man were born into the order of his life, which is to love God above all things and his neighbor as himself, he would be born into intelligence and wisdom, and as cognitions are acquired would come into the belief of all truth. Good spirits saw this at once and perceived it to be true, and this merely from the light of truth, while the spirits who had confirmed themselves in faith alone, and had thereby set aside love and charity, were unable to understand it, because the light of falsity which they had confirmed had made obscure to them the light of truth. It is a part of the wise to see and perceive whether a thing is true before it is confirmed, and not merely to confirm what is said by others. Only those can see and perceive whether a thing is true before it is confirmed, who are affected by truth for the sake of truth and for the sake of life. The light of confirmation is not spiritual light but natural light, and is even sensual light which the wicked may have. All things, even falsities, may be so confirmed as to appear like truths. Next, I will post the wise and the simple in heaven. 3. Please click on subscription and likes if it helps with heaven. Thank you.